Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too.
I'm a really big fan of green olive pizza. When I was younger, one of my cousins, that's what kind of pizza he liked. There was a local place that they would get it, and it was cheese and green olives. And I started eating it, and I was probably like, 7 or 8 at the time. And it's been my favorite since. And not a lot of pizza places carry green olives. And so I have to find specific ones in order to get a good green olive pizza. But that's my favorite. Now, my family doesn't always enjoy that. And so it's a rare occasion where I actually get one. But every single Thursday, not every single Thursday, most Thursdays, we have pizza night. Now, today I want to talk to you about how to handle pizza night without losing your progress. Now, you can be doing really well throughout the week, right? Maybe on Saturday or Sunday, you planned and prepped your meals, you put your workouts on the calendar, you've been getting your workouts in, you've been staying active, you've been making some better choices, and then you feel like things are starting to click, and then bam, it's Thursday. And again, if you're like my family, that means pizza night. And so now you're sitting there with your family, everyone's eating it smells really good. Maybe you picked it up, from Papa John's or Papa Murphy's or Pizza Hut, wherever you get pizza from, your local pizza place. It looks really good, and you're trying to figure out, like, what do I do here? Do I say no and just feel like I'm missing out? Or do I say yes and just feel like, I messed everything up? Chances are you've been in this spot before, and it might not be pizza. But if you're like 99.9% of Americans, you probably enjoy a good pizza. Now, this is where typically people feel stuck here. It feels like you have to choose between making progress or trying to enjoy time with your family. And most of the time, what ends up happening is one of two things. Either you avoid it, you try to eat something different, and it just doesn't, it's just not as enjoyable. It's definitely not something you can stick to long term. Or you go all in, you eat way more than you planned, and then the next day you feel like you need to start over. Now you're in that cycle again where you tell yourself, next week I'm going to do better. Monday I'm going to do better. I'm going to start over after this weekend. I'm going to clean things up, and I'm going to do better next week. But pizza was never the problem. It's how you approach pizza night that becomes the problem, because you're never going to be able to avoid these moments. You're a dad, you're going to have lots of moments like this. If you have birthday parties for your kids, chances are there's pizza involved, there's burgers involved, there's all sorts of things. And so the goal is to learn how to handle them so you can stay consistent with everything that's going on. So I'm going to walk you through how to handle this in a way that's going to work for you. Now, if you go into pizza night really, really hungry, you've already lost the battle there. You're going to eat really fast. You're going to eat more than you planned, and it's going to feel like you're just out of control. And so what I recommend is to have something earlier in the day. That could be, a protein shake. It could be like a smaller meal. You don't want to walk in to pizza night. You don't want to go to the store. You don't want to pick it up. You don't want to have it delivered and just be starving, right? And so you want to try and have something between that. Like a lot of times, even when you're just going out to a restaurant, it's a good idea to have a protein shake or have something small before you get there, because between appetizers, between maybe finishing your kids' food and stuff, it's a lot of added calories. And especially if you're already really hungry, you're not going to care about the calories in the moment. You're not going to care about the, eating too much then. But if you go in where, you're not starving, you're hungry, but you're not just ravenous, wanting to see everything, eat everything in sight, then you're much more likely to make a better decision here. And so don't show up starving if you're going to have pizza night. If you're going to go out to eat, or you're having your family meal, make sure you're never starving heading into it. So I always recommend, when it comes to when you're trying to lose weight, like the more you snack, the harder it's going to be. But if you also are just starving all the time, there's a much greater chance you're going to overeat as well. So you have to balance snacking and just being way too hungry for each meal. So step one here is going to be don't show up starving. Now, number two is we want to decide how much you're going to eat before you actually eat. And so if you're making decisions in the moment, this is where things are going to fall apart, and probably rather quickly. So before you even start eating, decide what it looks like. Maybe it's 2 slices, maybe it's 3. Maybe if you haven't eaten much at the end of the day, you're like, hey, you know what? This is the meal where I'm just going to eat a little bit more. I'm going to have 4. Whatever it is, decide how much you're going to have before the meal starts. Maybe it's 2 slices of pizza and a cookie, or 3 slices of pizza and a side salad, right? Well, once you decide, just execute the game plan. You're not guessing. You're just going to go and enjoy the meal. Do what you said you're going to. So decide how much you're going to have before you get there. Don't wait until you're driving home with the pizza to decide, because chances are it's going to be a lot more than what it would have been if you were making decisions, right, when you're being a little bit more rational there. Now, one of the biggest things you need to do here as well is to make sure you slow down. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I'm a big fan of eating slowly and eating until satisfied. They're two of the foundational habits that I teach my clients. So this is really big here, slowing it down. If you eat fast, you're going to eat more without even realizing, right? When you slow down, you actually enjoy it. You sit with your family, you're being present. This is going to be much more enjoyable and much more sustainable too. You're going to be able to enjoy the food you love without overdoing it. Food is much more than just calories, right? If in step 2 here, you've decided I'm eating 3 pieces of pizza, eat those slowly. Enjoy it. Spend time with your family. We don't just eat food for fuel, right? Yes, food is fuel. Yes, food gives our body nutrition and the nutrients we need, but it's also how we connect with people, right? We typically like to, it's very cultural. We like to enjoy each other's company over a meal. And so if you've already decided how much you're going to eat, stick to that plan. Now slow down and enjoy it. And one of the added benefits too of slowing down is that you're going to feel fuller quicker, right? If you eat super fast, if I asked you to eat an entire pizza, you would try and do it as fast as possible, because if you tried to eat an entire pizza as slowly as you can, you're probably not even going to make it halfway, because your body's hunger signals are going to kick in. And so if you eat slowly, there's a much greater chance you're going to stay in control. And the last part here is by far the most important. Don't turn one night into the week. Thursday, if pizza night for you is Thursday, like it is for my family, it can turn into leftovers for Friday. Now, Friday all of a sudden turns into Saturday. And if you've already gone Thursday, you've already gone Friday. Now it's all the way Saturday. You might as well start again on Monday. So now instead of just one meal, you let pizza night turn into 4 days. One thing that I like to do, whether it's with my meals or with my workouts, is I always want to get back on track as soon as possible. If I miss a workout, not that big a deal. If I miss Wednesday's workout, I get it done Thursday. I try and get back on track as quickly as possible. If I have a meal where I overeat and I ate way more than I planned on and it wasn't my healthiest meal, maybe that was Wednesday for lunch, Wednesday's dinner is going to be on point. I'm going to get back on track. When we can break this cycle as quickly as possible, it's much easier to not let that become a habit, right? If you all of a sudden let one meal turn into 2, turn into 3, turn into a weekend, now next week, we're kind of dreading that. We do really well Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pizza nights Thursday. Now Thursday turned into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But instead of just calling it a wash, make progress Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Enjoy pizza night Thursday. Get right back on track Friday. Go enjoy a meal with your family Saturday. Now Sunday is looking pretty good. You just made a whole week of progress, and you had 2 meals that you probably ate more than you typically would. But now you just made progress through that entire week rather than letting one meal turn into more than half the week there. And so you're a dad. You're going to have pizza nights. You're going to have birthday parties you're going to. You're going to eat out. You're going to have these moments with your family. That's part of life, and that's one of the best parts of life. I love going out to eat. I love ordering food from restaurants. I love cheeseburgers. I love food in general, right? That's part of your life. If your plan doesn't account for that, then obviously you're going to struggle. It's not going to be something you can stick to. And this is probably where you're struggling right now. You keep trying to figure this out on your own. And when you get into these situations, everything feels different. You know, every week feels different. There's no structure. There's no clear plan to fall back on. And so you keep repeating this cycle over and over again, feeling like you have to start over. And the reason you feel like you have to start over is because you are starting over all the time. Inside my program, the Fatherhood Fit Method, this is exactly what I help you build out. How to handle situations like this, how to stay consistent without overthinking it, how to actually, have fun, enjoy your life, and still make progress. And if you're tired of feeling like one night throws everything off, if you want a simple plan that's going to fit your life, no matter how many birthday parties or in-laws come for dinner, no matter what happens, then send me a message. My email, my contact information is in the show notes. Send me a message with the word ready. I'll reach out to you. I also have my coaching application in there if you want to just go ahead and fill that out. I'd love to have a conversation with you and see if what I offer can help you, because I don't want to see you struggle. And I know you don't want to struggle. And I know you want to enjoy your kids' birthday parties, because your kids are only going to be young for so long. And so you want to enjoy the moments with them. You don't just want to get through. You don't just want to, power through each of these things and not enjoy it. And so if this is something you've been struggling with, go ahead and send me a message. I'd love to help you not only enjoy pizza night, but continue to make progress and continue to get better all the time.
That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.